We have been chosen, we have been chosen, chosen by God, chosen to be nurses, chosen to be nurses, a holy people, to love and serve. We have been chosen. Chosen by God, chosen to be midwives, a holy people, to love and serve. Come on, nurses, to the throne of salvation. To the Spirit that makes our lives new, come on, nurses, to love and serve. We have been chosen, chosen by God, chosen to be nurses, a holy people, to love and serve.
Amid the stars, we have colleagues who have joined us from different parts of Africa and different parts of the world. And among them, we have colleagues from as far as Hong Kong. They are here with us. You can. We have our colleagues from Hong Kong. We have a team from Kenya. I don't know whether they are yet with us here. We have a team from Ghana. We have a big team from Ghana. We have a team from Madagascar, and one of them is a part of our donors. We have a team from South Sudan who are here with us. We have a team from Botswana. They are here with us. We have a team from Gambia here with us. So those are some of the visitors we have, and we shall be introducing more. And I will do that to make sure that the team is here and we are ready to listen to your song. Thank you very much.
I greet all of you in the name of Jesus Christ. I am Anduara Samson. I am the Deputy General Secretary, standing here fully for the General Secretary who is caught up to represent us. Actually, for workers MP, you also need to participate. The member standing under the ticket, elections that are going on, is could not make it here, but I'm fully here to represent her. Thank you very much. I wish to take this opportunity to welcome all of you for our International Nurses Day celebrations, which has actually fully begun today, with this scientific conference which we are going to have. And also, as already mentioned, we have a keynote speaker who will be of value to us before we begin our topics that have been already approved for us to get to know. And I need to take this chance, much as I have recognized almost everybody, but I want to see people region by region before I call upon my president to come and continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a scientific conference. I have only 3 words to mention. My name is Justus Jerome. I'm the president of the Nurses and Midwives Union, and I'm also the president of African Nurses and Midwives Confederation. I have another office in Ghana. It is located in Ghana, West Africa. So those are my titles, and I'm a nursing officer working with the Kumi district government, particularly at the hospital. Tomorrow I will be addressing you in a serious way. But today I'm just ushering you in to welcome you to this scientific conference and also to make some few remarks. Among us, guest speaker, these are nurses and midwives. They have traveled all over the country and beyond. The guests you see there are also nurses and midwives in their countries. And colleagues, I want you to actually appreciate Kumi organizing team and all the nurses of Uganda to host 8 countries in life. 8 countries are here. It has never happened to host 8 countries in our country at the same time in a conference like this. So we are very grateful. Visitors, you are most welcome. I don't want to say feel at home, because at home there might be some small issues. But now feel Uganda. So you are most welcome to Uganda. And we thank you for honoring our invitation. Next year, we are going to have it a big one again. So we welcome you to come back. And this time we want 20 countries to come. So please tell your colleagues, when we meet ICN that Uganda is the best, we go back. Thank you very much. So allow me to welcome the keynote speaker, because this is not my day. My day is tomorrow. I can consume 2 hours, 4 hours. But now people are patiently waiting for presentations. So, keynote speaker is our own, is our colleague, is our registrar, is the daughter of the soil. So, you are most welcome, Madam Registrar.
I'm excited and happy to be here. I like what I'm seeing in the room, and I like what I've heard. I want to join my colleagues to welcome you to this conference. My name is Christine Nimwesiga. I am the registrar for Uganda Nurses and Midwives Council. I am a nurse, I am a midwife, and I think I am fully comfortable here because I like what I'm hearing. It develops me and it helps all of us. I bring greetings from Uganda Nurses and Midwives Council. I have come with my team, and I think the president was whispering that today I'm a keynote speaker and tomorrow I will be the registrar. So when I go to talk as a registrar, I will introduce them, but they are busy here serving us outside the entrance. I want to request that I stand on the protocol that has been observed, but of course I cannot forget to thank the President of Uganda Nurses and Midwives Union and to welcome our guests from all over the countries that have been mentioned. Some of them I have gone to their countries and some of them I have met them. I want to welcome you officially as the registrar for Uganda Nurses and Midwives Council. And especially I want to recognize my fellow regulator, the Deputy Registrar of Gambia. Yeah, thank you so much. It makes me happy when the association union, they are working together with the regulators. And I would have been much excited, Mr. President, if we also bring the educators and other members of the Quad from other countries. Next time in the 20 members, we shall have. Oh, I'm being told we have educators. Thank you so much. Says we are at the heart of the health system. And globally, I want to inform you that nurses, we are all over the frontliners in the healthcare system. We have the people who have faced most of the challenges, from pandemics, maternal mortality, from climate-related diseases, conflict-driven emergencies. Nurses, we continue to stand firm. I want to appreciate all of you. Globally, we nurses and midwives, or the health workforce, we make 50% of the team that contributes to the health of the people, but yet we still face challenges. There is underinvestment in the nursing fraternity, and I can't fail to mention that we still have limited leadership opportunities. Mr. President, I want you to take note of these issues, because as we come here as a union, some of these issues need to be addressed or taken to where we can have some beginning of discussion. The World Health Organization and International Council of Nurses consistently emphasizes that without strengthening the nursing profession, we will not achieve the universal health coverage or the sustainable development goals. In Africa, I want to acknowledge that we have advanced in some countries through community health, strengthening disease surveillance, and also delivering care where it is needed most. Countries like my neighbors in Uganda, the Kenyans, they are making remarkable progress in nurse-led telemedicine and specialized nursing education. This is clear proof that nursing leadership is not a Western concept, it is an African necessity. When I come back to Uganda, what am I emphasizing? Let us rise with momentum. Ugandans, we want to rise with power and purpose, because we all know from the north to the south, from the east to the west, nurses and midwives, we are holding the health system together. We have been in the front line, so we must intentionally invest in nurses and midwives. And what are my key issues that I want us to focus on as we move with the theme of this celebration? Professionalism and specialization. Mr. President, Ugandan nurses must be known not only for compassion, but also for clinical excellence and strong ethical standards. We must expand opportunities for specialization in areas that we have identified as a council, and some of them would be in oncology, neonatal care, psychiatric nursing, intensive care, emergency care, to mention but a few. Let us not only serve, but master our craft. Our colleagues in the health profession, especially the doctors, they have specialized, they have super specialized, but we are still following them. We need to catch up and be sure of what to follow the global regional requirements, because we are not producing products for Uganda, but for the world over. One other issue I want us to focus on, as I appreciate the purpose of this conference, we need to be objective as we drive research and evidence-based practice. We must shift away from tradition and guesswork. Our nursing decision must be grounded in science. While Ugandan nurses, we are already conducting researches, we are already showing impact in evidence-based practice. We need strong platforms. I want to repeat this. Mr. President, we need strong platforms for funding, greater institutions to support and promote evidence-based practice. Uganda Nurses and Midwives Council, we have been sponsoring nurses and midwives who want to do research, but specifically for the upcoming researchers. We have conducted one training for those nurses who want to do research, and we have developed a journal whereby our nurses will be publishing their research papers, and I can say we are almost at the final stages. We were tasked to have the first issue published, and our target is to have it published before the end of this year. We are working in collaboration with different institutions. Makerere, recently we had a collaboration with some African partners, and we hope it is going to be useful to the nurses and midwives. So the union should join us in finding support for the nursing researchers, and we take it up deliberately. I want to call upon all of us here today to embrace mentorship and continuous professional development. Colleagues who are here, what our young nurses see us do is what they will take. So the mentorship we give will determine the future nurses and midwives. Mentorship must be a deliberate process, interpreted into every ward, classroom, and rural health facility. Let us not monetize the processes or the help we give to the young nurses and also our fellow nurses. Let's look at what the future will bring. If we are sick, we shall not choose those people we know who are better. You will definitely land in the hands of somebody. So did you prepare that person to help you? The answer is with you. Senior nurses, we must nurture the young professionals. At the same time, continuous professional development should be routine. We should digitize and make it accessible to nurses in every part of the country. I want to make an official announcement that all health facilities, you are supposed to be accredited for CPD, free of charge. I have drafted the circular, and we are finding ways of better disseminating how the CPD accreditation can be done. The guidelines are going to be clearly stipulated, and my team is willing to support you for all facilities. And this is my request to the senior nurses, the leaders, the in-charges. Endeavor to make it routine, because without continuous development, we are going to be TBS, we are going to be the attendants on the ward. Next, Mr. President, I want to appreciate your efforts in empowering the nurses economically, and I want to appreciate you for the entrepreneurship drive. And all of us who have invested in entrepreneurship. Today, as we begin our celebrations, I want to call upon all of us. Let's embrace entrepreneurship. Let's look for ways of empowering ourselves economically, such that when we retire, the people who were treasured, we don't become scarecrows. This is my message. Nurses, I appreciate we are innovators as well as caregivers. Through initiatives, you have heard of the parish development model. You have heard the president promoting circles. Can we make sure that we fit in? Can we engage in entrepreneurship? Can we manage our work well? Can we develop the wellness programs and create employment? We are caring for others, but we are not caring for ourselves. Sometimes I ask myself, who is caring for the carer? Mr. President, we need to stand up and empower nurses and midwives. Unlike before, where we used to admit into the profession people who are mature, currently we are admitting the young generation who are manipulating the age to be admitted. At 16 years, we have nurses who are joining. How are we preparing them? How are we empowering them? Our midwives, they have suffered the backache, they cannot stand upright, and nobody cares. How can we help them to start with themselves? It is not a matter of coming here, we enjoy Kumi. What do we take home? Where is our wellness center? In our facilities, who is caring for us? If I am faced with a challenge, where do I go? I receive calls most of the times that, Registrar, I am having this challenge. I think it is high time we separate the mandate, but also work together to help our colleagues. The wellness of nurses and midwives in this country and nationally and internationally is very key. So, Mr. President, don't look at only members of the union, interest other members to join circles, because they are capable, but if we didn't have the international guest, I would add on, but another statement I will say it when we are alone. Next, the last issue I want us to emphasize is professional growth and leadership. Mr. President, nurses must be promoted into leadership and decision-making roles, whether on hospital boards, whether district health teams, or national policy committees. Nursing voices must be heard. A country that invests in nursing leadership is the country that secures its health future. If you are not on the table, you may not know whether you are being eaten. So, Mr. President, we have many structures and we are the majority. I appreciate the support you have given the nurses in terms of salary increment, but we need to appear on these committees and policy dialogues. The few leaders you have, me inclusive, I cannot appear everywhere. We need people to go on different committees and we need to be present. I don't know whether we have any government representative today. In the absence of those people, I assume the President of the Union will take the message. Mr. President, we recognize and appreciate the steps taken by the government to support nursing. There are many things the government has done. However, more needs to be done. I myself, on behalf of nurses, we are calling for increased investment in nursing education, especially specialization and infrastructure. What happens if nurses get scholarship to go and specialize? It needs to be increased. We need to support nurse-led innovations. What have we done? What are we doing to those who have started? We need to empower them and bring more on board. Recognition and fair compensation. Because I'm on air, I will stop at that. Then formal integration of nurses into national health reform strategies. That is my summarized call to action to the government and all those who can support nurses. And to my fellow nurses and midwives, what do we have to do as ourselves? I want to assure you that you are not invisible. You are known. The work you do is great and people appreciate. The world is watching and learning what we already know. Nurses do not just heal. So don't say, I have contributed to the healing. I want to call you to lead, to teach, to innovate, and transform. Don't say this is how things were done, and therefore it should continue like this. What have you learned, and how are you doing it? What are you doing in your current status? You must lead from where you are standing. Don't look at the president, don't look at the registrar, don't look at the commissioner nursing and start saying our leaders have betrayed us. For you where you are standing, what have you done? Then when you do it, it will move to other levels. We shouldn't call for another person to do what we want before we do what we are supposed to do. Let us stand up and say, I have managed to do this, but because of ABC, I cannot move forward. And then people will listen to you. So let us be encouraged. Let us continue to serve with pride. Let us lead with purpose. Let us innovate with courage. Together, we can and we will change the world. In conclusion, today is more than a celebration. It is a call to action. Let us work together. to advance nursing profession in Uganda and across the world, and specifically the region. Let us ensure that every nurse and midwife is empowered, recognized, and supported to make lasting change. May this conference inspire, energize, and strengthen our shared vision. May God bless the nurses and midwives of Uganda and around the world. Before I give the mic, I was requested to open the conference officially. So it is now my distinct honor and privilege in my capacity as the Registrar, Uganda Nurses and Midwives Council, to officially declare the International Nurses Day Conference open.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Unity.
Yes, thanks.
Unity.
Yes, thanks.
That is the spirit. Mr. President, Triple Justus Kimplaga, the President of the Ugandan Nurses and Midwives Union, the ICN representative present here, the keynote speaker, my fellow international colleagues from Africa, fellow nurses and midwives, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure for me to be here today. It is a pleasure for me and the entire Ghana contingent to join the Ugandan Nurses and Midwives Association to commemorate this year's International Day. Ghana, are you here? Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Ghana National Nurses and Midwives Association, Mrs. Perpetual Furi Ampofu, extends her warmest greetings to you all and has asked me to inform you that she was assigned a national duty to join the Ghana's delegation to the 78th World Health Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland, and therefore could not join us for this celebration. She wishes you a very successful celebration and has tasked me to read her message as follows. As we commemorate the 2025 International Nurses Day, Ghana is happy to join Uganda in celebrating Ugandan nurses for their hard work, dedication, sacrifice across the country. The effort of each and every one of you is what holds the health system of Uganda together. You will observe, you deserve a safe, motivating working environment where equipment, logistics, medicines are readily available and allow you to practice at your optimum to ensure positive patient's outcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, the global theme for this year's celebration, our nurses, our future, caring for nurses' strength, economy, highlight how crucial it is important to promote health and wellness of nurses Now, if we put it this way, the local team. These high-income countries are currently recruiting from Ghana and other African countries as a quick fix to their staffing gaps, sometimes with non-adherence to WHO ethical recruitment policies. Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the health of all population is resilience on health and the healthcare force, and the gaps in global health workforce can only be addressed through investment in quality training, better working conditions that ensures retention of the workforce, and the continuous provisions of safe and quality health service by well-motivated health professionals. Our advocacy work as National Nurses and Midwives Union should be guided by the recently launched State of the World Nursing Report and the Global Strategic Direction for Nursing and Midwifery 2021 to 2025. It is critical that our nation focus on the enormous potentials that strategic investment in nursing and midwifery can have in generating economic and social progress in our countries and around the world. With up to 59% of the global workforce comprising of nurses, there is no doubt nursing occupies a critical role in the efforts of realizing universal health. Nursing has an economic impact that is way beyond the value of government have placed on us over the years. Our value have not been properly evaluated and compensated for. On this special day, we join the International Council of Nurses and all nursing associations on the African continent to call for better working conditions, resilient health systems that protect not only the physical well-being of the nurse and midwife, but also support their mental, emotional, and socio-economic well-being. Let us, with one voice, demand higher investment in nursing to ensure adequate number of well-trained, well-paid, highly motivated nursing and midwifery workforce whose labor and union rights are protected in the environment where there is zero tolerance for violence and economies where social determinants of health are equitable to the reduction of avoidable and unjust gaps to ensure the health and well-being of all populations. Nurses, oye! Oye! Long live Uganda Nurses and Midwives Union. Long live. Long live the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Long live. Long live Trade Union Solidarity. Long live. Thank you for your patience.
Wow, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Good morning, everyone. We're going to welcome you in this place today. We are happy to see you today because Uganda is our motherland. DJ.
adverse outcome, like sepsis occur. So why is sepsis occurring? Because maybe at times we don't follow the guidelines. And why don't we follow the guidelines? At times we also have issues. So that is what we found out. And the objectives which we were basing on, we wanted to assess the quality of pre- and post-operative care provided by the health workers to Caesarean mothers at Soroti Regional Referral Hospital. Soroti Regional Referral Hospital was our basement. We relied on Soroti Hospital to collect our baseline data, which would help all of us. So the second objective was to assess the knowledge of health workers towards pre- and post-operative care of Caesarean mothers at Soroti Regional Referral Hospital and to determine the strategies to improve pre- and post-operative care of Caesarean mothers at Soroti Regional Referral Hospital. So our expected outcomes were to reduce the number of post-Caesarean sepsis at the regional referral hospitals, not only in Soroti. Soroti was a baseline data collection to help us go outside and help other regional referrals and even lower level facilities. So another outcome was to improve experience of post-Caesarean mothers and their babies at regional referral hospitals, then reduce maternal morbidity and mortality at regional referral hospitals. We know we have about 17 regional referral hospitals. Okay, I'm sorry. So our goals was to improve the experience of care for Caesarean mothers at regional referral hospitals. Another one, to reduce morbidity and mortality due to post-Caesarean sepsis at regional referral hospitals, to improve the knowledge and skills of health workers in the care of Caesarean mothers, and to promote the use of protocol or guidelines to care for these Caesarean mothers. And then to plan for the intervention. We are already doing the intervention and provide support and monitor change. Then we re-audit after 4 months to see whether this intervention has made an impact. Generally, this project, we have been supported by the nurses from Australia. Australian nurses are supporting us on this project together with the union. Generally, just to brief you, this project, we collected data from the staffs, about 24 staffs who work in the postnatal ward, labor ward, and in theater. We also collected data 300 from 300 mothers. Then we also looked at the files of these mothers, ranging from some period for within 3 months. We looked at about 310 files and we gathered these results. So we didn't think of certain things, but we got in the results and we felt they are important. At the level of education, in our demographic characteristics, we had a level of education of the staff. Majority was certificate and diploma. So we also call upon our certificate and diploma people to upgrade. That is okay. Then the majority of the staff had worked in these areas within 1 to 5 years. Knowledge of staff on care of Caesarean mothers. So normally we found that majority of these staff working in these areas have never heard about pre- and post-operative care checklist in the unit. They have not been using the checklist. 83.3% say they are, okay, we hear about them. We learned about this from school, but we are not using them on the unit. So also the knowledge, we also discovered that there were no knowledge on what is in the pre-operative care checklist for Caesarean section. We asked them to list down at least what are on the pre-operative checklist. So they were not able to list at least 6. We counted at least somebody who could list 6 to be somebody who had the knowledge, because we have many we know. So most of them could not list. They listed things which were out. So, we talked about training. 91.7% of the nurses and midwives who are there in those 3 areas said they had never got any CME or any training concerning pre- and post-cesarean care of mothers. So, around here, we have the mother's interview, we have the document review, and the document review, majority of the mothers, we didn't think about this, were those ones who stop at primary level, majority. So, this was also alarming. Then most of this cesarean section were obstructed labor. They came when they were already obstructed, some of them were referred. So 92%. And most of these were emergency Caesar. They were not planned cesarean section. So temperature taking was very bad. Observations were very bad, were alarming. About only 7% of mothers were observed. We check blood pressure, temperature, and the like.
That is there for those who are interested. We are interested, we can equally do. So, the background. I think we have all seen what I'm presenting, right? The background for my topic is birth asphyxia is a condition where newborns do not get enough oxygen before, during, or immediately after birth, leading to potential brain injury or death. Globally, birth asphyxia affected approximately 2 million newborns annually, causing 700 deaths. That is by World Health Organization 2021. In Africa and East Africa, neonatal mortality rates are linked to poor healthcare access and home deliveries. In Uganda, birth asphyxia accounts for 20% of neonatal deaths. That is by UBOS 2022. While in Yumbe Regional Referral Hospital, about 120 to 130 cases of birth asphyxia, that is 2.7% incident rate, are reported annually. This is the second highest. We rate this to be the second highest because Arua being our mother. You know, Yumbe Regional Referral is a baby regional referral hospital. So Arua has been our mother. We are sure Arua has the biggest number than Yumbe. So, it being the second highest in the region after Arua, despite interventions like perinatal care and community sensitization, birth asphyxia remains prevalent in Yumbe Regional Referral. Knowledge gap, which has been known about mothers' perception, practices, and knowledge on birth asphyxia prevention in Yumbe.
1 and 2.
General objective. The standard objective looks at 2. It's not just the baby is there asphyxiated, you know. All of us know how when you deliver a mother and the baby is asphyxiated, how anxious the mothers are. They would want to hear the cry, but when the baby does not cry, it becomes something that will torture this mother and even the attendants. So it is upon us to interest ourselves and make sure we really do the right things to our mothers to make our babies come good, because we are aging. These are the future nurses and midwives and even doctors who will save us when we are old. So let's do the right things so that we are able to
at least to make them happy. Then the perception, the practice. In the practice, I talked of home care. After you've delivered this mother and you've delivered the baby, how, if in any case the baby had asphyxia, how have you interested yourself in following up this baby up to that level at home? Do we only stop at the facility level where we are unable to we are unable to at least make them understand at home? From the facility where the baby has been cared, the care still continues up to that level. Do we have that? Then adherence to the advice of the medical officer or the nurse who has been giving the care. Then the cultural practices. Do we interest ourselves in seeing the cultural practices? We all here have the cultural practices pertaining if a baby has birth asphyxia in our cultures. That is there. Each of us have different. How they do theirs is there. And how do we make them understand some of these cultural practices are bad or they are good? Which ones are bad? Which ones should we take and which ones shouldn't we take? So, and then the care seeking. Do they really seek care? Do they have the negative attitude towards seeking care or seeking care early? All that we need to bring on board. We need to educate them on that so that they are aware of that. Their perception, the myths and norms, beliefs, I earlier on said, we all have different cultures, and the different cultures have different norms and myths which are there. How do you address this as in your facility? That is the way to go. Which ones are the ones that are real, which ones are not? We need to talk. It is all about how we communicate to our mothers so that they know what is good and what will make their babies come out very well. Then the methodology, the study design was cross-sectional. The site was Yumbe Regional Referral Hospital. Study population, mothers attending AMC at Yumbe Regional. Sample size, random sampling. Sample size is 252 participants. Using that. Then data collection, structured questionnaires, then for perception, categorized questionnaires for knowledge and practices. Data analysis by SPSS. Then ethical consideration approval was from Heart Institute Research Ethics Board. Then the results, I looked at the demographic data, which of course somebody will say it's just there, but why I did that, I wanted to understand which age category is much more affected or is, you get. So according to this, you can see it from there, because time is not on our side. Then nationality, you know, Yumbe is serving both national and refugee. It is a refugee hosting community, so I just wanted to understand whether the refugees are also affected like the nationals. So in the results, it is the nationals that are mostly affected than the refugees.
Governance for our nurses and midwives in the hierarchy of health services, management and leadership to the highest governance level. And here I want to give you an example, and please listen to me. Sorry to take just 1 more minute. We had a colleague of ours who was appointed the chief executive officer of a hospital called Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital. He is a nurse. Then one day, somebody woke up from nowhere and in parliament and says that he's called Dr. Dagane. Dr. Dagane cannot be the CEO of Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital simply because he has a nursing certificate. We told them, Pumbafu, kwenda huko kabisa. And we fought that war and won. Because we knew if we let that guy go just because he or she is a nurse, it will set a precedent. That one day, me, Obuya Obengo, if I want to become a president of Kenya, they tell me, even one of your own could not be a CEO of a hospital. That is nonsense. Because we have the same qualifications, we have the same management acumen like any other person. So you should not be discriminated just because you are a licensed nurse or midwife. You deserve equal opportunities. You know, we have 2 levels of government. And during this process of developing the policy, we involve everyone, especially the national government and the county governments. So we are still in the process of implementing this policy. I can tell you the Kenyatta National Hospital is developing its own because of different backgrounds and challenges, so that they can domesticate their nursing and midwifery policy according to their needs and the specific needs, because this is a national one. And then we are going also to escalate it and also to other level 7 hospitals so that they can develop their own. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening to me. And feel empowered. You are not a lesser health professional. Asanteni sana.
Say it again.
You are not a lesser health professional. Viva nurses! Viva midwives! Mambo! Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
I am about to give Alfred more time. Do you agree? He's still around, so we still have him here.
Governance within your Ministry of Health. That is where everything starts. The architecture of leadership and governance at the topmost Ministry of Health. If you miss there, you are done. If you are not on the table, you are on the menu. You will be eaten like groundnuts. Are you getting me? So you must make sure that at the topmost governance level, you are seated there. Are you getting me? I don't also know whether you have an health act. That's why I say the policy is also anchored in the law. Our Health Act in Kenya 2017 recognizes the Directorate of Nursing and Midwifery Services. Now, if you don't have that, you start what is called advocacy. Advocacy. And advocacy doesn't mean making noise. It means justifying why you should be at the table. Get me? One of my favorite quotes I usually tell nurses and other healthcare professionals is that there was a time that Thabo Mbeki, you know Thabo Mbeki from South Africa? He was asked that why is it that Mandela chose you to represent ANC, to represent ANC at the talks between ANC and the Boers. Thabo Mbeki answered the journalist that at any time during your advocacy journey, during your life, you must ensure, you must prove that you are worth listening to. You must prove that you are worth listening to, so that you are called to the table. So if you want, that is a topic I can talk about the whole day. But if you want assistance, I've already talked to him that we are ready to offer technical assistance so that the nursing and midwifery practice in Uganda is given the commensurate recognition equal to the services that they offer to the citizens of Uganda. Are we together? But it needs very strategic advocacy to do the same. So career progression guideline is equal to a scheme of service, but it must be reviewed so that it is in tandem with the changing dynamics in the healthcare service delivery system. So if there are any gaps in that career guidelines, you must review it so that you put the office of the Director of Nursing Services in Uganda at the ministry headquarters. And then after identifying that office and putting it in place, you must also give it the requisite functions. Because you can give somebody a very big office, but they are not functions. So you must also give it function that is equal to that office. We are ready to help and we are available. Thank you so much.
We are nurses. Okay, so I want to share with you, we speak the language that we can communicate. I speak English, you speak English. But I speak Asian English and you speak American English. If there is any problems to understand what I'm saying, please raise up your hand. Okay. But the language doesn't bring my heart here. It's only nursing that bring my heart to be here. Thank you. And the picture, my slide, shows you the background of Hong Kong. This is a light view from Hong Kong. And after President Kenya, so I can share with you the legislation and the mandates of nurses status in Hong Kong, and then share with you some of our challenges in Hong Kong. So we have a busy city, so we have traffic jam all the time. And so I enjoy the space here very much. Unemployment rate is 2.9%. And we have many population, different cultures in Hong Kong, so we have a lot. So I just show you some. Philippines, Indonesia, India, Thailand, Pakistan, Nepal, USA, Canada, Malaysia, and UK. So if you come to Hong Kong, you have different kinds of cuisine. So about healthcare, it's lucky that by 2023, the healthcare system in Hong Kong was ranking 14. But it was ranking the first by the Birmingham Burberry Healthcare Efficiency. We are ranking the first one from 2014 to 2018. So this is our healthcare system. This is our government. Our leader is called the Chief Executives. But because we are a special administrative region of China, so this Chief Executive may need to communicate with the leaders in China to look after Hong Kong. And the legal system is very different. We are following the common law system and China is different. So therefore, we have a special independent administration system. And we do not call the head of the health services the ministry or the minister of health. We call the Secretariat of Health. So our secretariat is a medical doctor. It was at one time we have a nurse in this position. And in our healthcare system, 90% of the services provided by public, that means funded by the government. And then part of it by private, so people are covered by insurances. we have 4 layers of decision making in the health bureau, in the health system. The first is the health bureau. You call it the Ministry of Health. So they make all the projection and planning ahead. And then the Department of Health is the department that execute to bring out the policy to work and then evaluate the policy and make amendment or adjustment anytime. And then we have the public hospital ordinances, which is called the hospital authority. It looks after majority of the health services in Hong Kong. And then other health services are available in the market. It is a free business. So we have a private health care system, and which is under the legislation of health facility ordinances. In Hong Kong, majority of the expenses is spending on hospital care. That means when people get sick, they will have treatment. However, it is changing, and then in Hong Kong, we want to promote primary health care and prevention. So therefore, there are various settings in the community. We have private facilities like general practitioner, they're independent clinic practice, medical specialists, and we also have traditional Chinese medicine, which is and other stream of medicine in Hong Kong. And then we have other therapies like physiotherapists, dietitian, clinical psychologists, and they could have their own clinic, people pay for it. And in the recent years after the COVID, we have a lot of integrated medical center. That is, they include all the professionals in one clinic. And also we have the non-governmental organizations to look after the healthcare services. They are missionary parties like Catholic, Protestants, and others. And then we also have a community nursing and home care services. Also, in 2017, we start to establish the district health center, which was usually under the hospital. But we decided to make it separate, so we start to have the district health center. We are still on the way of learning how to deliver the primary health care. For the expenditure, as I mentioned, majority of the expenses were used for treatment and for hospital services. And so the health expenditure costs about 8 to 9% of our total GDP. So lots of expenses is on this area. 10,000 live birth is about 3 by 2023. So it's improving. And then the infant mortality ratio per 1,000 live birth is about 1.6. So this area, we can say that the rate is low. One of the reasons is the birth rate is also low. And so for the health worker, we also have a program of shortage of nurses. And right now, our ratio is about per 10,000 population, we have about 20 doctors and 78 nurses and midwives, which is not enough. And the leading cause of that, of course, is non-communicable disease, cancer, pneumonia, and heart diseases. And the male and female ratio is changing from 70s to right now. And right now we have less male than female. Less male than female. Yeah. Yeah, and then, yeah, okay, I have to run, okay. And right now our community services is looked after by the Department of Health. We have different streams of services, including dental services, elderly services, maternal and child health, social hygiene, and integrated treatment center and chest clinic. We have chest clinic because at one point of time we have lots of people suffering from tuberculosis, so we have special clinic for them. And for the private facilities also have the same thing as the government services. And regarding the non-communicable disease, in year 2018, our Department of Health started a towards 2025 strategy and action plan to prevent and control NCD. which is a project that we would like to alert the citizens to take care of themselves by avoiding alcohol, tobacco, active exercise, and taking balanced diet. And then Hong Kong has another problem, and I talked with some of the African friends about the elderly. Hong Kong has a limited spaces, so when we are the city is very busy. The people are going to work day and night. We work more than 12 hours sometimes. And so the elderly, if they have any chronic problem, we usually put them into institutions like nursing home or some special arrangement daycare center. So it's like putting the elderly people to school. When they after work, they bring them home. So this is some of the issues for us. Study in Canada, US, or Australia, or some people come from China. They all get their registration after their study, but they want to come back to Hong Kong to work. So in facing this demand, we modify our regulation to allow people to come to Hong Kong to work with a change to asking them to pass the exam. We have the employer to employ them according to their qualification before they could get the registration in Hong Kong. And after their performance were appreciated by the employer, they were recommended by the employer to get the registration. We hope that this will be easier for nurses to come to Hong Kong.
When we look at the signs and symptoms, the key signs and symptoms you as a nurse or midwife, this person will come with chronic pain that has failed to respond to any painkillers. We have irregular periods. We have infertility because the more this disease advances, infertility is just along the way. We have chronic backache. These people at times experience funny blood, it's dark, brownish and all that. And to those with adenomyosis, it's a heavy flow. You know, some people even mistake this person to, is this person a body? It's really a heavy flow, and someone, you know, they can't even put on pads, just put on pampers with a lot of stuff. So we've talked about the staging. Endometriosis is detected during using a transvaginal scan, and the surgeries are done using a laparoscopy. So we also have CA, cancer antigen, that test. It's done also to detect, because endo is estrogen fed. We all have estrogen and progesterone. So with endometriosis, estrogen is always high. These people have hormonal imbalance. So when we look at the management of endometriosis, we are going to see the pain management. We have dieting and lifestyle. We have exercise and then surgery. So because we've said there is no known cure for this disease even up to date, but all these measures are taken to manage the symptoms. Yeah, those masses have burst. So the doctor was like, I think she's trying to abort. So I just went with my colleagues and did a scan. They took me, did a scan, and to realize it was endometriosis stage 4. All my ovaries were gone. The abdominal wall had the tissue, and my intestines had the tissue. So the only option was to remove my uterus. So it took us a year. We had to move, look out for specialists. These are big hospitals in Uganda. And we had to move to a referral hospital in Uganda. And I was linked to a specialist, a professor guy, who told me, you're going to die with that pain. No one can handle this in Uganda. So, oh my God. So with this condition, all these ladies would take herbal. Just because even medically, no one at times tries to detect this. So I started taking herbal for years. So because I had I was prescribed morphine, but I never wanted to get addicted. So we tried to look for a herbal that tried to calm down the symptoms. I then applied and got a job. That was in Uganda. I started working, and 3 months after that, I just got the same attack. This herbal was trying to calm down the symptoms, but the masses were growing again faster. So my brother researched and found out a specialist who gave me an appointment in Nairobi for this surgery. And they saved my uterus, and by all. So uterus was saved, but my ovaries were burned. So when it came back, I was like, I think let's come up as nurses to fight for the many ladies out there battling endometriosis and knowing it. So we found Endometriosis Foundation Uganda in support for that group. And we can't do this alone. That's why we call upon all our dear nurses. We are the frontliners. Because this is a disease that at times these ladies move into hospital and they just tell you, please give me pethidine. And someone will ask, who are you to prescribe this? Let's understand their pain. We try to calm down their pain by lessening the intake of all these drugs. And to many of us, once we get used to the dieting and lifestyle, it keeps us moving. So I just want to show you the pictures of some of the endo warriors. We do advocacy in schools. These are therapy sessions. We have group sessions. All these ladies have endometriosis. And almost 50% of women with endometriosis are battling infertility. It's hard to have a child once disease is advanced. So all these ladies have endo. And when you see all those ones, none of them has a child. Because here, in most cases, it has been detected late. But we really want to come up from out of that so that we work together as nurses to end the long wait of endometriosis. Some of the ladies we get supported with a Vaka Health Foundation that is based in Australia that has come up in a year to give hand to women battling endometriosis. So we do at-home visits for some of the ladies because once a guy goes in to operate this woman and they are not experienced in this, someone will just get perforation. And these are some of the ladies that have perforation because of poor management of endo. So the main office is in Rengo district where we have a facility, and God willing this year we are coming up with the first endometriosis wellness center in Africa to support women. This will be by the help of Vaka Health Foundation that really realized there is a big gap in Africa, and it will aim to support our sisters. We've said we can't do it alone, we need you, dear nurses. These are some of the success stories, people with infertility. Talk to your health workers, train them on how to detect the disease. We can't empty everything here. So thank you so much. I want to thank the Nurses Union, the president, for inviting me for this event. I'm humbled to be here. And I believe together as nurses we shall work together. We are developing a curriculum to train health workers and advocates in this disease. By the end of this month, we do about the dieting. As you said, we couldn't empty everything here. So I'm just going to talk about the key dieting. So with endometriosis, it's an inflammatory disease, inflammation in there. When you have endo, it means whatever, you see the inner lining, that endometrium, so the way it looks like almost this tissue outside will present the same way that endometrium will present. So towards menstruation, the uterus has to prepare and then you shed off. So whatever is happening inside the uterus is the same thing that will happen outside, where this tissue is. For those people who have it on the lungs, wherever you bleed, it's the same thing that is happening in the lungs. So it means we try to avoid all inflammatory foods. So the more you eat something that will trigger inflammation, the more pain you will get. So it's estrogen fed. It means these people already have hormonal imbalance. Estrogen is usually high. So we take those foods and try to calm it down. So if you fail to work on your dieting, it means you will go for drugs. So we are given hormonal therapies. These are drugs that just try to calm down estrogen, and in the long run, it's trying to manage the symptoms, calm down the pain. And remember, all these drugs have side effects. They are expensive. When you look at a dose, it's like 450 a dose for a month with products. We have a number of them at 350. They are really expensive. And then the drugs that are coming up now, Elador and all that, people can prescribe pills, but that is at a lower stage. These drugs are just to try to balance out your hormones, calm down estrogen, and manage the symptoms. So when we look at a diet, it will play the role of these hormonal drugs. So it will play the role of painkillers. Unless if this pain is not responding to these things, and then you go for the drugs, surgery. If someone is preparing for fertility, conception has failed, and then you're going into fertility, it's hard. You know, we believe in miracles that God can do what we really can do. I couldn't also believe I would stand here one day, I thought I would lose my life. There are miracles that God can make, but if it's too severe and someone is preparing for surgery, for fertility, surgery has to be done. So for dieting, when we look at anti-inflammatory foods, all dairy products, we go off dairy. Milk, yogurt, ice cream, all those things. So we go off sugar. So this stimulates the estrogen and then the pain. So we cut down sugar and almost go off it completely. The moment you take something sweet, this pain will just come up. So if you go off sugar or go off dairy, it's like you're keeping it dormant. So the more you eat it, you just trigger the pain. So we can't go off wheat products, bread, chapatis, and all that. So wheat also causes inflammation. It triggers, the tissue up and inflammation and then the pain. So we reduce red meats. So we say dairy, sugar, red meat, and all that. And then bananas, for those in Uganda, matoke is excellent. Fruits are excellent. So because we go with a lot of nutritious foods, dairy, so we take up fruits to just back some of that nutrients in the body, vitamins and all that. Fruits are okay, but we come down from those sweet bananas, those small ones, and then the jackfruit, we reduce it because they are too sweet and then we trigger the pain. But apples, yellow banana, watermelon, grapes, all those things are okay. So I think basically that is it. Though we have a lot, we have an endo booklet out there, just 10,000. Anything you contribute to buy or jumpers, it's just aimed at supporting these ladies, So we have an endo booklet, it has almost everything. We can talk about dieting. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's get
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. My name is Amodoi Helen, Assistant Residence District Commissioner. I represent the President at the district level. Allow me to thank the Union of the Nurses and Midwives of Uganda for giving Kumi as a district this opportunity to hold these celebrations. Today we are gathered here to celebrate the contribution of the nurses and the midwives to God's creation. And in this case, the creation is the human beings, not all creatures. I recognize your tireless efforts, often in challenging circumstances, and I acknowledge your commitment to delivering quality patient care. Your dedication compassion, and expertise has transformed lives and improved healthcare outcomes. This conference today here provides a platform for knowledge, sharing, innovation, and collaboration. So, fellow citizens of Uganda, let us harness this opportunity to enhance our healthcare services. To healthcare excellence, I wish you all a fruitful deliberation and successful outcomes. I dearly, at the moment, welcome you people to Kumi district, which is in Uganda. And I, as being a security organ of Kumi district, we dearly guarantee your safety here when you're with us. I wish all of us to celebrate the noble profession of nurses and midwifery. I end these words by saying, for God and my country. Thank you.
The Excellency of the Nurses Union, I said I will do all I can, but I will not miss this opportunity to miss you excellent nurses and midwives across the world that you are here today. This is an opportunity that I would have missed if I didn't come. I want to congratulate you upon reaching this day of the Nightingale, historical Nightingale. If I may say Nightingale, oye, oye. Nurses, oye, oye. Midwives, oye, oye. All the medical fraternities in your different capacities, heads of departments in Uganda who are here. You can see our dear Madam Registrar is here. You are all most welcome, and thank you for making it to come here. It has not been an easy task to make it or pave way to come to Kumi, but because of the zeal, determination, and the love we have for our profession, that's why we have made it, me and you, to come to this place today. Congratulations, the organizers of the Nurses Union who have organized this. It is beautiful and colorful. Thank you. You are all appearing smart in your respective capacities. Thank you. If any ADHO here, represented by our dear president, I think you can wave. The president is right here. You are most welcome. Those are my fellow close colleagues that I am representing, plus you midwives and nurses today. So I think my task was to greet you and tell you how heartedly I feel happy at this moment. If I can get wings, I can fly directly to the higher above place. Thank you for coming. I wish you a peaceful and fruitful deliberation in this scientific conference for God and my country.
Thank you so much. Back to Chris.
A client is your boss. If you don't have him or her, the job is not going to be there. So actually we should be, you're welcome. Please come here. And then they are not going to run away to go to the TBAs, right? Because you have that positive attitude. And so many times people complain about our attitude, right or false? When you go to community, what do people say about nurses and midwives? We are rude. That's one I will not talk about it. Which one else? We are proud, you know? Attitude is a choice. And if any one of us went from here and you're like, from today I want to attain a positive attitude. Because remember, actually, attitude is like a flat tire. If you're here and you want to go far, you need to fix your attitude. And in here, I love to talk about us. You know how so many times we love to complain. The government is not doing this. Our leaders are failing us. The NDHO is not doing this. What's going to help you? What have you done anyway? Every time you want to complain, ask yourself, what can I do to fix this before any other person can come in? My time is fast spent, but let me hurry up. Teamwork and collaboration and also conflict resolution, those are all soft skills. Work ethics, time management, conflict, critical thinking, problem solving, decision making, and also cultural competencies. These are all soft skills that we need because our work, you have to be intellectually well put for you to diagnose, for you to clerk, for you to be able to assess a patient, and then you're able to give them results and diagnoses that are proper. And you realize if you don't have proper critical thinking skills, people are going to run away from you. And then you're like, why is it that people are shying away from me? Because you don't have critical thinking skills. Stress management and motivation. So many times we say, we are not motivated. Who is going to motivate you? Who is going to motivate you? Motivation is going to start with you. When I look at the work that we do in the facilities, not even money can give you that happiness. But if you're comfortable and you're like, okay, I mean, I've been called to love and serve and do this. How can I thrive? Not to steal drugs, not to work within the pockets of these clients, but to ask yourself, what can I do to thrive in my career when I have not sabotaged? And then stress management. You're going to learn how to manage your stress because everywhere stress is there. Okay? So of course we are looking into how do we enhance quality of care, how do we give a good experience to our clients, how do we improve the reputation in our profession. When you go to community, it is vividly clear. People have a lot of, things that they talk about us. But if you have soft skills, that is going to be improved. Patient satisfaction, revenue, reduced burnout.
Malaria prevention during pregnancy is crucial in reducing maternal and fetal health risks, particularly in high-risk areas like Kanyumu sub-county. By the time we did this research, had a prevalence of 78% malaria in Kumi district. So we have high-risk areas in Kumi, and we have more than 4 sub-counties with a high budget of more than 50% as of now. ITN and IPTP are key interventions recommended by World Health Organization to reduce malaria transmission. However, despite the proven efficacy, challenges related to community acceptance and utilization persist, leading to suboptimal outcomes. The study evaluates the effectiveness of these malaria prevention strategies and explores the barriers to their acceptance and utilization in Kanyumu sub-county. So, objectives to assess the effectiveness of insecticide nets and the IPTP in reducing malaria prevalence among pregnant women in Kanyumu sub-county. To evaluate the level of community awareness and acceptance of ITN and IPT as malaria prevention strategies. To examine the challenges faced by healthcare providers in promoting and distributing ITN and IPTP. To recommend strategies for improving the uptake and effectiveness of ITN and IPTP in malaria prevention within the community. So a cross-sectional study design was used to assess the utilization and effectiveness of ITN and IPTP among pregnant women in Kanyumu sub-county. So data was collected from 120 pregnant women through structured interviews and health records review. The study examined the barriers to acceptance, including cultural beliefs, misconceptions, and access to healthcare services, and evaluated the impact of these strategies on maternal and health outcomes. So we found that 80% of women had actually accessed ITN, but only 60% were consistently using them and correctly using the ITNs. IPT was administered to 70 of the participants, but only 50% completed dosages. You realize that most mothers feel they react to the medicated nets. So that when a mother takes the net, the mother keeps the net. Sometimes they wash it before they hang. They don't hang it under the shade, then use. Some mothers prefer washing nets twice before they start using. Meaning by the time the mother hangs the net, the effectiveness is reduced. So what affects IPTP in Kumi district? Mothers delay to start antenatal care. Mothers start antenatal care at 28 weeks of gestation, find that they take maybe 1 to 3 doses of IPTP. So we also have knowledge gap amongst our community, and of course cultural resistance, and limited access to healthcare facilities. Women who consistently use IGNs and completed had significant better maternal and fetal health outcomes. However, low rates of malaria infection, anemia, and preterm. So recommendations, we actually encourage midwives to continue sensitizing these mothers on proper use, maintenance, and consistent use of nets. So treated nets should not be washed regularly, but you find mothers use nets maybe after 2 weeks a mother is hanging a net. So we actually need to advise these mothers wash their nets at least twice or 3 times in a year. Then also use other preventive measures. We encourage mothers to start antenatal timely, most especially the first trimester, for us to achieve the 6 doses of IPTP in pregnancy. Areas with mosquitoes throughout the year, like Kumi district and Teso region, we actually encourage mothers to have their...
Brief one, we see that non-communicable diseases, these are respiratory disorders, mental disorders, cancer, diabetes, and others, cardiovascular. Apparently, we are adding on sickle cell, hemophilia. They pose a significant burden on Uganda's healthcare system. So, previous data by WHO cites about 30% of Ugandan death being related to an NCD. But apparently, there is data which is reflecting about that 6% of the statistics. So, all these 36% is despite advancements in treatment options. We are seeing a lot of treatment options emerge. The drugs are there, many of them on the market for non-communicable diseases. We are having chemotherapy and a lot of other advancements in the cardiovascular side. But prevalence, mortality and morbidity continues and will always continue to rise, thus necessitating innovative approaches towards not only prevention, but also in the management itself. So this paper explored what the pivotal role nurses and midwives can play in health coaching in the management of NCDs. So what did we do in the methodology? The African Health Coaching Association partnered with the Center for Health Aging, which is housed by a national NGO called Uganda Reach the Aging Association, and provided health coaching through nurses to people with an NCD who are already diagnosed. So this study is basically for people who are diagnosed, so to help in the management, not only in the prevention. So through outreach programs, referrals from our current clients, people who are diagnosed with NCDs are identified, assessed, and their baseline findings are recorded. And this baseline gives us a basis of what support should we extend to these people in terms of lifestyle, behavior, and adherence to medication. Because we see a lot of relapses. Yes, you're already diagnosed with an NCD, but how come it hasn't shown? How come we are still advancing on the treatment option? It's because in the management, you need some sort of a support, a coach to be around there for you to adjust on lifestyle, which is actually one of the biggest risk factors for the NCDs. So we see a dedicated team of nurses and midwives who are trained health coaches offering continuous individualized health coaching services for a period ranging from 1 month 3 months. Studies have shown that it can actually take you about 3 months to learn a new habit. So it's not an easy thing. For example, in the previous 6 years, I've been lot of sedentary lifestyle. Some of these, what we eat on a daily. So for you to learn the good out of that bad, it can actually take you more than 3 months to learn. And it takes commitment, courage, and also a support person. That's why we are bringing in this health coach to be there with you to support. And in this case, we are bringing nurses because they are very available, they are very knowledgeable, they are very skilled, and they're actually the very best advocate for you. If drug A is not working, that person can actually advocate for you for a change in the treatment option. So our results, out of 320 people who we registered between June to December last year, actually 275 were female, about 85.9%. So we see NCDs, yes or no, they are quite so prevalent in the female side, according to our registered number, and 14% were registered as males. But also it also goes to the health-seeking habit and behavior in the male. We find that males have a very, not a very good attitude towards seeking health compared to their female counterparts. And 95% of these were at least diagnosed with more than one NCD. So they had at least 2 diseases concurrently, and 5% only had one single non-communicable disease. So furthermore, 69% of these were enrolled as gold, and 27% were enrolled as platinum and silver. So what does this mean? Silver clients, with silver being the least demanding client as a category. So these clients are categorized into 3, from silver being less demanding, then gold, then platinum. So you realize that the categorization depends on your health needs and the baseline findings that we saw from your enrollment.
Getting tough on you, but you need to explain to them with your emotional intelligence and say, you know what? By the way, housing is an incentive. Let her understand. Because they feel it is a mandate for me to get a house. It is an incentive that motivates you to work. But everything is consolidated in your salary. So my colleagues, when you don't get accommodation, don't tire. For me, my cow tells me, even if you want to travel from Kampala, as long as by 8 o'clock you are at work, I have no problem. And that has helped us shape the nurses. We tell them by 8, as long as you want to stay in town, be in town, but by 8 you must be at work. So this has helped us explain to them with good courtesy, and they are able to understand. So we assess these questionnaires and the factors. If you have enough staff, if you have a supportive leadership, definitely you will be able to work without stress. So colleagues, I want to see the recommendations here. We want to say that healthcare administrators, for us here, you and me, we need to see how we prioritize, how we plan for them. As Kumi, I want to give you this as a testament, that in my year 2024-25 now, each facility in charge was able to budget for the nurses to come for this conference. And this does not end here. We have also again planned for this coming year. And this is what is helping us at Kumi. So next year, those in Moroto, we are reaching you. We shall come in big numbers. I don't know when we are free from here, where the nursing celebration will be. We shall come in big numbers to support you as well. So members, thank you so much for listening to me. I want to say that as we go back, let's work together to support our young nurses who are coming up, because we are leaving the platform for them to also work the way we are. I want to thank you so much, and I wish us a very good, nice evening as we go back. Thank you.
I am Akulku Samuel Alankora. I'm the first vice president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Our invitation to this program is very much appreciated. And if you look at how Africa is split, we see this invitation as a rallying point from which African trade unions could become united. And I believe if we are able to do this, our political leaders will have no choice but also to unite, as is the current call for every African in the continent. Just a brief comment on this particular conference. I've just observed that it's the best way to go, and I must commend the Ugandan Nurses and Midwives unions and their leadership for this initiative. You'll realize that there were a lot of presentations that were made, and these presentations are touching in certain professional areas that will improve our knowledge, skills, and outlook for some of these conditions. You'll also realize that the conference has been able to draw 8 other African countries, including Ghana, my country, the country where I come from. Let me quickly add that in February this year, the African Nurses and Midwives Confederation was launched in Ghana, the country where I come from. And the aim of this organization is to bring all African nurses into one body so that we can have a better voice at the global stage. Unfortunately, currently we are splitted and we go there as individuals. And if you go there as an individual country, your voice may not be heard. But with the current situation, the move that African nurses and midwives have taken, I believe moving forward, whether at the International Council of Nursing or any other international fora where nurses are to be represented, Africa will have one voice, and that one voice will be piercing, and it will be effective for us to move as one continent. I will call on all nurses and midwives in Africa that the conditions of service across the continent is almost the same. Nurses are not given the right recognitions in the area of leadership, policy making, and all other influential positions. So we call on nurses and midwives in Africa to rally behind their union leaders. Union leaders can work effectively if they know they have the support of their members. Union leaders are ready to hold the bull by the horns to ensure that nurses get a fair share when it comes to remuneration, it comes to conditions of service, it comes to equipment and safe environment for us to work. We are under stress, but I believe we owe a duty to the population of Africa. Let us offer the quality service that they expect of us and ensure that our patients will also be our advocates, and together we shall shine one day. Thank you.
Okay. The theme of this conference is Global Nursing Change the World, and I think it is very important. The changes need to be the unity of nurses, and also another perspectives from this conference is to love and care and serve. Yeah. And this is easy to say, but we have to put it into practice in our daily life. I think this is something that we have to take home and reflect when we are working.
Yeah. What message do you have to the regulators and the governments
to where?
On the issues which were raised, the challenges which the nurses are facing?
The challenges?
What messages do you have to the governments?
The government?
The governments and the regulators.
Okay. The challenge for nurses at the moment is the global shortage. So nurses in the world together has to work together to look at these issues. The shortage one is the shortage of number of nurses. And also we have to look into the quality of service we are deliver per nurses. So in conclusion, that is, as a nurse, we have to work with our full competences to achieve the best outcome.
My name is Mirana. I'm from Madagascar and I am a programmatic officer for an organization which is called Fundación Avina. So Fundación Avina, it's one of the donors funding UNMU on its activities in Uganda. And I find this conference is very interesting for us as a donor to understand what are the needs of the workers' union, what are mainly the needs of the nurses and midwives, to help us to see how to support them more, to strengthen the union so that they are able to, they are empowered to participate in decision making and bring their voices at local, national and international level. Okay, well, I think the nurses and midwives, they are doing very great. My message is to keep empowering union because we achieve more when we are together. Like inciting all the nurses, midwives to integrate the union. My take home, I think I already said to help to understand more on what are the needs of the nurses and then to see how best to support them in what they are doing.
You've been clapping for them as they come because they have done the wonderful work. And that will be followed by Miss Kebirunji Harriet. Please, Miss Kebirunji Harriet, if you are around, please come for your certificate. And that one will be followed by Ms. Nagawa Grace. If you are around, please come forward for your certificate. After that, we shall to be followed by Miss Judith Miss Judith, no, the name is a bit hard for me, but that will be followed by Miss Arum Alice Goret. Arum. That's for Arum. Then followed by Miss Kadimara Siasa. If you are around, please come and receive your certificate. Then this will be followed by Mr. Ronald Oteka Jacob. Let me hold the camera people. After that, we shall go to Mr. Ogo John. Ogo, if you are around, please wake up and come to your certificate. We shall follow by Mr. Okwakor Susan. Mrs. And then we shall be followed by Dr. Angora Emmanuel. If it's allowed, Mr. Angora Emmanuel, doctor.
It's okay.
If she's around, please come forward. Followed by Miss knocking the grades. Are we tired of clapping? Followed by Mr. Sunday Edison Oundo. And followed by Mrs. Bafumba Rita. Okay, those are the...
We are coming to an end of our activity. Congratulations to those who have received the certificates. I want to request the following. The international guests to come forward for another photo moment. One, with my commission. Yes. Then two, tomorrow we are going to award the international guests.
Thank you.